What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, 2025 IoniQ 5 XRT, all-wheel drive, fully electric vehicle. This one has the aggressive exterior panels. It has the tow hooks. It has the aggressive tires, all that stuff. Let's go for a ride. First impressions of the XRT when it arrived, I thought this is a goofy example of an electric vehicle. Most people look at electric vehicles as commuter vehicles, point A to point B, within a 300-mile range of where you live. Not long distance driving, of course. We can get into that later, but like just a commuter vehicle that does what you want it to do, has some cool features with it, this and that. But this one is an all-wheel drive, like all-terrain vehicle, and it's bizarre and it looks bizarre. The IoniQ 5 already looks bizarre. You don't have to make it look any funnier than that, but they did. They put the unique fascias on the front and back. They gave it aggressive tires. They gave it like black all-terrain wheels package. They gave it a lot of cool little features, embroidered seats, stuff like that just set it off, and make it look totally different than the other one. And first impression was, wow, how goofy. But then the same day that I got it and I was driving it around, I realized that it is kind of cool. I wish I had some bad weather to drive it around in, but I'm not going to complain with a sunny day, and we've had a good weather week anyway. But it's just, I guess it does fit the need for an off-road vehicle, but all electric. Let's get to the full review. All right, Jins, sitting outside the IoniQ 5 XRT. Look at those flashing hazard lights with the marker light inside. Really unique front end. It's like all encased in glass all the way around. Well, plastic probably, but glass all the way around. Camera up front. Then you have the XRT trim, so you have this specific fascia. You have the tow hooks up front because it's an off-roading vehicle. You got the aggressive Continental tires, black XRT wheels. I actually really, really like the overall design of this exterior. I love the body panels, how there's that just defined lines all through it. The door handles stick out, get flush whenever you start driving. You have that plastic all around the wheel wells. Really aggressive. Same thing on the back. H-track four-wheel drive. Then you have the black plastic that runs the length of the vehicle, front and back. And then look at that spoiler up top. Sweet rear spoiler that's built into the back of the vehicle. Hatchback design. Love the taillights. Very like pixelated, futuristic video game looking IoniQ 5 taillights. And the paint job, it kind of changes color. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but it goes from like a green to like a blue depending on the sunlight. No moonroof or nothing like that. Tinted windows in the back. Mirror lights in the mirrors. You also have your cameras for your turn signals in the mirrors as well. But just a sweet overall design. Let's get inside and look at it. All right, guys, inside the IoniQ 5 XRT, really futuristic interior, electric vehicle, all this good stuff. Look at the materials, look at the layout, look at the cool materials on the side for the XRT. And then you also have XRT up in the headrest, or not the headrest, but the seat backs. I love this dash design. It's very user-friendly. It works pretty fast. Four-way flashers, on-off button, stereo, all your different stereo and setup controls. And then you have the HVAC down here, which I usually have off when I'm driving. But then you can have it set for just driver only. I don't know if you can see that with the reflection. It's just driver only. Or you can have, the dual climate controls. You can change it up depending on what you're doing. Down here is the shifter for park and drive and all that. windshield wipers up there, driver assist up here, headlights, digital dash up here, and you can toggle through, the different things. And you can see after driving, I had 190, or after charging 193 miles so far, and I have 75 miles left. I'm at 27%. I've been just driving it around locally just to kind of get a feel for it. Drive mode button and terrain mode button. So when you're off-roading or you're in the snow or sand or mud or whatever, that's the button you want to select your different modes with. And then this is just regular, normal, sport, and eco. Down on the side, you have your trunk button, your fuel, your charging port door, parking brake, auto hold, typical stuff. In here is just like, that's where you grab the door to open and close it. You can also put things in there. It's kind of a small compartment down there. Another compartment on the side where the water bottle is. Basic plastic on the sides. But overall, I like the interior. It's very simplistic. My favorite feature, we have charging down there, and we have an open floor because we don't have a drivetrain, obviously, right? But then this center console houses your wireless charging capability, cup holders, a place to put your phone. Down here is where you have your seats and your steering wheel and your cameras and your parking assist and all that. Below there is another compartment that you can get to if you lift up the armrest. The armrest is pretty basic, has a plastic piece in there, but it's basic. But down here, this center console area, there's a clip up front here, and you can slide it up and back. And I like having that option to like kind of move it around to give yourself better access to this stuff. Better access, better comfort when you're driving, having your hand here on the armrest. Then around back, we have the regular back seats that are decent sized. Let's go back and take a look at those. But overall, the interior is pretty slick. The back door here, same thing with the trim down the side. But then these door handles go in. When you lock the doors, they go in flush. The door opens almost 90 degrees. And you have the same XRT badging on the sides. And you have a really, really open floor plan back here. Lots of leg room, lots of space for passengers to kind of stretch out. You have static seat belts that are down here that don't move. They fold down or they come up, and you're able to plug into them. So that's a good feature. I like that. This on the side here is where you would flip to have this seat fold down all the way. Let's go take a look out back. So when the car comes and it's dropped off, you have the Tesla charger right there. Tesla charger. So I put that in, and then I can put my normal dryer plug from my house, my level 2, and charge it that way. Let's get on the road and talk about it. Coming around to the back, underneath there's your camera, and then there's a button next to that which opens the trunk, power lift gate, and there's a power button right there to drop it back down. But back here you have some storage. You have basically enough room to put 2 hockey bags back here. You have lights back here, and it's pretty clean, pretty basic. 60-40 split on the back seats to drop down to give you even more storage. That closes down nice and clean. I love the design on the back, like I said before, with that spoiler. But electric cars, right? Everyone knows electric cars don't have motors. Well, they have electric motors, usually at the wheels or close to them. But this one has the front storage, the frunk, and it's underneath where the normal engine would be. That's where we put all of our adapters for charging. This adapter is actually for supercharging. You can go fast charger there, plugs into the same outlet in the back. I have the basically dryer plug at my house. Hey Yins, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It lets us get cars like this, which are pretty neat. They're fun to drive. Like right now, I'm going to take it off of the regen. I'm gonna put it in sport mode, and I'm gonna floor it going up this hill, and it just grabs and goes. And we can only do that because you guys are watching, you guys are subscribing, and I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys, before we get on the road, facts and figures on the 2025 IoniQ5 all-wheel drive XRT. It has a dual motor setup, dual electric motors, and the H-Track all-wheel drive system. It's got the fast charging option. I showed you the adapter for that. It has a Tesla plug by the factory in the vehicle. So when you're out, the Tesla supercharging network is available for you to use, but you also come with adapters that you can change for whatever you need to do. It has the XRT wheels, fascias, spoilers, and the traditional IoniQ5 LED design in the front and the back. The LEDs are really nice at night. The high beams are actually very useful at nighttime. They spread the beam wide and high up in the air, so it's effective at nighttime. The sliding center console on this is one of my favorite features. Like I said before, really nice. Bose sound system. The CDB. So Hyundai says 259 mile range. When I charged it from 50% or whatever to full charge at my house, I left the house with about 287 mile range. And it gives you a max and a minimum as well. So maximum was like 310, 315 when I left the house. Minimum was like 230, give or take. So you're in that range. It's called a range for a reason. It's one or the other. It's all of the above. It depends on how you're driving, where you're driving, all that good stuff. If you're using the air conditioning all the time and the heat all the time, all that stuff, incorporates into your actual overall range. 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. That's plenty of power for this little vehicle. Shoots you down the road. Really slick. The MSRP on this one is $57,085. So kind of expensive, almost 60 grand. You're getting almost 300 mile range. You're getting an all-wheel drive vehicle with some off-roading capability. A little bit more aggressive than the previous ones, but I think it's decent. I think it's still too expensive, in my opinion. I think this car should be like 45, fully loaded up like it is. You don't get a moonroof, not that I want one, but you don't get a moonroof. You don't get cooled seats, stuff like that. But like that's quibbles, right? Those are little details that you don't get. But MSRP of 57,000. Let's get on the road and talk about some of the good and the bad. All right, guys, the good and the bad list. Let's start off with the bad because there's not very much bad. And I know you're thinking, well, you have to find something wrong with it, right? Well, the price is number one. Almost 60 grand. It's kind of outrageous. That's expensive for an electric vehicle. I don't know. I feel like it should be in the 40s. That's just me. This style is polarizing. We talked about that, at the onset and looking at it outside. The styling is polarizing, and I don't know that a lot of people are going to like it. So I put that as a bad. It's just over the top. It's different. But again, this is like one of the first off-road electric vehicles besides obviously a Cybertruck or a Rivian, that goes off-road. But like for Hyundai to do something like this, it's kind of off the charts. It's on my bad list just because it might turn off other people. Let's get to the good list. Good list. Power, obviously. Styling, I like it. The sliding center console is so sweet. It's fun. It's a fun urban commuter, suburban commuter, and it has decent range. Those are my good lists. The power, obviously, right? 446 pound-feet of torque in a little vehicle, like this. It's a bullet when you want it to be. You put it in sport mode, you take off all the regen, and it rockets down the road, has a lot of power, and it's very satisfying. Electric vehicles are very satisfying to drive. If you've never driven one, I highly suggest going and driving one, because then you'll understand just, how easily they are to drive. They go from point A to point B. You stab the throttle when you want more power. You let off. It's just like driving a lawnmower in that regard. And then you have the different levels of regen to help you, feed the battery power back. And Western PA where I live, we have hills and valleys and all kinds of stuff everywhere. So there's plenty of opportunity to regen the battery, while you're driving. Like there's been trips I've taken, short few mile trips that I've basically been even. I didn't lose any power, I didn't gain any power because of the regen and driving it in one pedal driving in town, and all of that stuff combines together, and I enjoy it. I think driving an electric vehicle for what I do for a living and my setup with my family, it'd be great just to hop in, turn it on, drive to where I got to go, back and forth, charge it every once in a while. It would fit the need for that just fine. The other good stuff, the styling and the center console. The center console is just like a minivan kind of thing. Like you have those in all the minivans. You have sliding consoles. They added it to this because you don't have that transmission hump down the middle of the vehicle. So you have all that extra space. And even my kids, when they got in it, they're like, wow, this is really spacious. And they noticed that stuff because it doesn't have that same floorboard that a normal car does. So having the sliding console, I think, is a cool feature. Really neat. And the last thing, I like the styling. And I think the range is perfectly fine. Almost 300 miles to a full charge. That would literally get me to and from my different jobs and to and from my kids' practices and games and gymnastics and whatnot for probably a week, maybe even like 10 days without having to charge it. Now, granted, I would have to charge it from like 5% all the way to 100, but I can do that overnight because I have a home charger. If you have a home charger, the range anxiety goes away for the most part. And there's superchargers throughout the US in pretty like decent spots. Like a lot of the big gas stations have them now. Some of the grocery stores have them now. So, I mean, if you get dwindled down to 10, 15% and you get worried about like you might not be able to get home for some reason, you just go plug it in a supercharger for 10, 15 minutes, catch up on some emails, make a phone call, and you're back to like 70, 80%. Just like that, you can get home and charge it at home. But like I said, guys, electric cars are polarizing in general. And I think this one's neat because it's got the off-road capability and the styling, but it still gives you that electric car feel. You can still get the horsepower ratings that you wanted. Gives you all-wheel drive for the weather. Decent sound system. All that good stuff. Not bad at all. Car Dad Build this week. Real cars for real people for real life. Give this one a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.